Welcome everybody to Central Eastern Europe OneClick Factory Partner Gathering. Just like every month, we focus on the most challenging ideas partners have on the market. And today, this is the first time ever that we are turning our attention to Dynamics 365 customer engagement. So how are partners focused on this solution doing? What are the challenges? What are the trends? And so on. I think it will be a very interesting discussion. So keep tuned and be active. You might wonder on why do we do these kind of things? Why are we making investment to gather partners together, to bring panelists, experts together and share knowledge? Well, for one thing, of course, we're doing this from very egoistic approach. One-click factories CSP indirect provider for the Central Eastern Europe market, which means, of course, we want to trust you as a vendor, as a distributor, and we want you to trust your experience, your journey to cloud with us. But it's not the only one reason. We made the promise to ourselves and to the market that we will be investing into the market, investing and helping partners gain their knowledge on Dynamics 365 so that overall share of the market grows. We have only one rule today, just like always, be active. We have a chat. Um, and please use it. Please share your comments, ideas for the next sessions. If you do not agree with our panelists, of course, write it down. We might argue, we might discuss. That's what we are here for. And just to try, if you see the chat button, tell us where are you from. I am joining from quieter, rainy, and cold Vilnius. Where are you joining from? Let me check. Okay. Okay, I don't see anyone saying where are you from yet, even though I do. Oh, no, I was looking to the wrong. Hello, everybody. We have Albania, we have Macedonia. Nice. And with this, I'm very happy to introduce our panelists. As always, we are going to have three different opinions, three experts representing three different views. First of all, Microsoft view, then partner view, and one-click factory view. With this, I'm happy to introduce Microsoft representative Michal Skoromsky, who is Senior Product Marketing Manager at Microsoft. So, Michal, I'm very happy to have you on board and tell us, well, you are responsible for marketing. If we have in mind Dynamics 365 customer engagement, is that a tough role that you are in? Do you have a lot of work or the solution itself just flies around?
Hey, hi, hello everyone. Welcome from the rainy Warsaw, Poland. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here today. Thanks for invite. In terms of my role, yes, I'm responsible for Dynamics 365 CRM portfolio, which we call it Microsoft Customer Engagement. And definitely, I don't know if it's tough, but currently it's definitely exciting and it's super rewarding. I don't know if you had opportunity recently, to see the latest announcements in terms of Dynamics 365, but also entire Microsoft Cloud, how it really becomes a platform to empower our customers to achieve more, but also work closely with the partners and help them to support the customers in what they want to achieve. So answering the question, for sure, this is exciting, especially at this time when we have, all of these new capabilities, functionalities, and products even, made available. Also, leveraging artificial intelligence, all the cloud components. So super exciting.
We'll be eager to hear how partners in Central Eastern Europe doing and what they are missing and what is Microsoft providing as a help, and overall what help can they expect out of the market. Okay, so looking forward to discussing more. Our next panelist is partner representative Jakub Neshuta, who is business architect at Innovation One. Jakub, then when we were looking for some good examples on the market on who could be a central figure representing a partner, who is a good example on the market doing CRM-based solutions, your company's name popped in as a very good example, as the leader company who is taking lead approach. So what is it there that is unique about your approach and about what you do?
You probably can ask our customers for answer for that, but from my perspective, I believe that the main thing which is making our kind of special, that we never just wanted to implement something. For us, it's really important to have this partnership with the customer, and a customer has to be open with his business with us, because only that way we can really add some value for you. And also we are a big company, so we are focusing on clients which finding this partnership. And I believe this is a core, because it's not about hey, you just create something for me. It has to be something with a feedback. So yeah, I believe that.
And for those interested to learn more about the approach, Jakub prepared a short handout that you can find under the handout session. Please download, where he introduces more about the approach they're taking, some steps, and if you would need some help on CRM projects, they're more than willing to accept that help and help you out. Our last panelist, Tautvydas Dagys, who is representing OneClick Factory, and is our Power Platform and CRM force behind. So Tautvydas, relatively, Power Platform and CRM department is quite new at OneClick Factory. Why make the investment? What holes were noticed in the partner network, and what challenges were there to fix so that we are introducing the new people on board and introducing this power for the market?
Yeah, so of course that was missing piece of three big rocks of Dynamics family. So all the CRM related apps. And then I would say that, yeah, so sales is very popular. So many partners know how to do that. But there are more advanced functionalities today, and more advanced apps where the competence is still lacking within the network, like field service, customer service, marketing, and all other new artificial intelligence features as well. And the last part is that CRM is as the product, as technology, brings together the Power Platform, which is already a kind of connecting part for all the Dynamics families. So there is integrations to Business Central, integrations to finance and operations, and all of those products are connecting all together, also to Office 365, services like SharePoint, into one big solution working interchangeably together.
So nice. So now we have three experts, and now let's dive deep into different topics and to see what are our findings or insights on them. The first topic that I would like to introduce is the market in general. So how do we see the market? What are the trends? What are partner capabilities? Michal, I would like to start with you. You are working at Microsoft, so of course you get the holistic picture on how partners are doing. So is Central Eastern Europe doing a little bit better, a little bit worse? What trends are there? Is that if we look at different countries, would you say that the success of the project depends on the country readiness, or it is more particular partners' approach that determines the success?
Yes, that's a very good question, and I wouldn't say maybe it's better or it's worse. For sure, it's a bit different than Western European countries or US or more even advanced in the CRM space. For sure, we need to keep in mind that actually Central Eastern Europe is a region where we have a lot of technical resources. People are smart, especially partners. They are keen on very often create software, but also very strongly to customize software. And this is what we see, that not always partners are preferring to align to out-of-the-box functionalities of the systems. On one hand, this might be smart, and this might be convenient for the customer, because customer can ask, I want the same what I had in this system, in this one, and in this one. Now I want to have that in CRM. And if the partner simply accepts that, and having in mind that actually, dynamic CRM is really flexible, we can build a lot of things. What Tautvydas mentioned, this is built on Power Platform, so we can create a number of entities, number of job objects, and this actually we can create a monster on top of that. So sometimes, what I see is in Central and Eastern Europe, the partners tend to listen to the customer very clearly and try to replicate requests. Not always they have a courage to be a bit like a challenging, and asking, what do you want to achieve at the end? Is this really what you want to have? Is just, have these former 3 systems now in the CRM, and simply, align to the best practices that are built into the CRM. If we go out of the box, maybe it can be painful at the beginning, but seeing, the roadmap and how the product is developing, it may be more convenient then to support it, to keep up with the roadmap, with the new features, instead of, maybe reinventing the wheel and then replacing the features that are on the roadmap, or maybe are not really necessary to achieve at the end what the business wants to have. So I wouldn't say this is a worse approach. It's for sure different, and sometimes it's even, as I said, it pays out to create a customized solution. It works better, but not always. So I would say this is my observation of how we are working and how the partners are implementing CRMs in Central Eastern Europe.
Jakub, what would your view on the market be? Are you overloaded as a company with a project? Would you say that the approach that you are taking is very different than competitors would be taking?
Yeah, it's different, but I have to say, of course, we are not only company in our country with the same mindset. But yeah, there is still a lot of companies which are just, doing the IT delivery, but not doing finding the business value at the start. Because every business idea can be really, really good, but you have to think a little bit more to the future. So it's not always about initial requirements. It's sometimes about the context in which the company is, how its strategy looks like, and stuff like that. So I believe this is really important to do at the start, and this is the key to do a really good project. And at the end, customer can have a success. Because if you don't do that, you are just implementing something and hoping for the best. And in the terms of market, I believe that we are living in the century when the company owners and management strongly believe that the quality of IT it's a backbone of the company. Because you cannot do a big retail, for example, without some sophisticated system which automatically informs your customer and stuff like that. So this is one point I would say in terms of the market. And the second point I believe is there was mentioned new technologies like AI and stuff like that, and also there are a lot of companies still that are not believe in these technologies, because for them it's sci-fi. And when you are not working in this environment and you don't have some technical knowledge or practical experience with stuff like that, it's still kind of sci-fi. But there are signals that more and more companies start to believe that this stuff like that really works. So yeah, I think this
so
is
the future for you is promising, right, Jakub?
Yeah. Where the how people work is changing, and we are talking about technologies which allowing this transformation of humanity. I would say.
Great news. So Tautvydas, what about you? Well, you have probably more experience about Baltic partners. You have worked in different companies for quite many years. So would you say there are differences in attitudes in countries?
Yeah, indeed. Actually, I had experience in the Baltic countries and also experience in Scandinavian countries. So, of course, there are many many differences. Like you mentioned that some technology still seems like a sci-fi for partners. So I would say that sometimes we still see that cloud itself still seems as the alien technology for some of the partners, and then still running on old habits and deploying the on-premise solution, which for CRM there is much less reasons to do that actually today compared to ERP, but partners are still doing that. Maybe sometimes afraid of cloud, maybe sometimes like in Lithuania we are still driven in the public tenders that in the rules you try to kind of sell servers together with the software and etc. All these type of things. Other thing that I think that the issue is that the budget of the projects, because in this region we still face that the budgets are smaller, and sometimes it runs into different type of issues, either very small scope of customization, which in the end ends up with not the good satisfaction of the customer. Sometimes is too much effort put into the optimization of licenses and finding how to implement it ourselves. So I can fully reiterate Michal here that partners are creative and they're looking and investing too much time in trying to do the same, and we what Microsoft already did, and we're always trying to do this fit gap analysis to show that, hey, look, this thing already implemented there, and you will spend like months to do the same, while you can sell the higher level of license and run on other features which are really missing and bring the value faster to the customer.
Interesting. We have an interesting, actually, question that we received on personal basis. Have you used Dynamics 365 marketing to organize the webinar? Very good question. And I must say that we receive that question from Microsoft team quite often. This is a very good push for us as well. But to answer your questions, yes, we are considering very strongly, maybe not only marketing, but also to utilize Teams more in our webinars and etc. And also with the Tautvydas on board and with some other changes happening in the company at the moment, we are, as a company, we are in a huge transformation process to build the CRM and to bring the CRM solution that we are using into different level. So yes, we try to be what we preach, to utilize all Microsoft solutions at the maximum, but not always not always at the speed that we would like to. Okay, the next the topic that I think it's logical to move is to go back to the subject of today's discussion. My CRM is a mess. All companies, almost all companies, have a CRM solution one way or another. So, and my assumption is once somebody goes into the project, they have such huge hopes that everything will fly, will solve all issues and so on. But for some reason, it's not very seldom that we would hear, oh, my CRM is such a mess. Actually, I must admit, before we used to have that situation before we had our own department as well, for various reasons, which we might dive deep later. So the question is, why is that? Why do we get into this messy situations? Why is it so that companies' CRM is a mess? Before I let our experts speak, I would like to invite you to a poll. So why some CRM solutions fall? Do we have a poll? Okay, the primary reasons that we thought is either partners do not have a competence, or maybe solution is too flexible. That's something that Tautvydas was talking, or maybe customers are not willing to allocate sufficient funds, which might be true, or not all key people get access to CRM. So what do you think? What is the primary reason for solution to fail and to be messy? And let's check the results. Okay, of course, the results will be changing quite fast. At the moment, I find that almost all the reasons are quite good reasons. Maybe there are more answers on the solution is too flexible or customers are not willing, but overall, we have quite a good picture for all the reasons behind. Michal, if to comment the poll, and would you agree these are the primary reasons on why some solutions fail, some implementation projects fail?
Yes, I would answer, as I quite often answer, it depends. So in my opinion, it depends who we ask. And then probably who would be the primary person to ask would be actually the seller, right? And if we ask the seller or the person that should be using the CRM, and the answer is it's a mess, it means that simply the whole project before was there was something missing. And what I observe, and this is not a new thing, this is what I work with CRMs for 10 plus years, and it's old truth that it's about adoption. So if sellers don't want to use the CRM, then it will be like really decreasing usage and decreasing actually adoption and decreasing opinion about this software. And actually, this is, I think, how can we tackle that? How can we make sellers actually use the CRM and consider it as a useful tool? In the companies that I was working, of course, everywhere CRM was there, and sometimes it was perceived as the replacement for the notebook. It was actually a database, more a tool for a manager, that the manager could see, yes, my sellers, they are in the field, they are talking to the customers, they register leads, they register opportunities for the manager. That's great. They have a beautiful report. Fantastic. But on the other hand, in this situation, the seller is actually, it's just for him another duty, right? He needs to sit at the computer quite often, in the evening, and remember what he was discussing, enter all these opportunities, leads in the system, and it's a pain. And I'm not surprised that such a person will tell, it's a mess, I have other task, I should really sit with the customer talking about business and not really update, the CRM. And here, I think to change the situation is simply to offer something meaningful to the seller. So if the seller considers this system, sales system, as really something that is helping him, for example, instead of putting this information in the system in the evening, he can simply take a mobile phone, dictate this information, or the system can listen to his phone calls and can take notes, can do the transcription of this conversation so that it's immediately there. Next thing, the system can actually see, what is the conversation on the email with this customer, and can suggest, what, competitor was mentioned. Maybe, you should use this offer, or maybe, customer asked for a discount a week ago. Did you answer your manager, if this discount is possible? So these hints that are actually crucial for the CRM system, for the modern CRM systems, if they are properly implemented, that they are properly supporting the seller, then in my opinion, they will never say it's a mess. It's really something helpful. It's really something that assist them, that make them happy, that make them released from this office day-to-day task, and they can really focus on the business, on speaking to the customer. So here, I think that's one of the main reasons I would call out.
And I think you're very right saying that it very depends on who we ask this question. If you would ask the partner, he would say, funds not sufficient, customer not using, or doesn't know what he wants. But then if you ask seller, not the seller, but the customer themselves, they might say different reasons. So Jakub, from your point of view, where this gap comes from of failing the projects? Well, and I understand that you have gone through this path yourself. So what were the reasons when you were failing or see others fail in the past?
Yeah, it's quite common that these projects are literally a mess, and almost none dates or deadlines are passed. But like I said, I believe that the key is to be strong at the beginning, and every crucial question should be asked before the project starts, because I believe this is the work of the business architect or solution architect or whatever. to bring your own ideas and confront the customer idea, what he wants. Because for example, if I'm going to implement some sales process for my sales team, I have to talk also not just with the manager and the owner and so on. I want to ask the sellers what they think about it. I want to ask their managers, and you see, you always need to bring all the roles which will be some kind connected in the solution, to be sure that this big picture makes sense to all the sides. And also, if I take this example with the sales process, also the main key is to draw the process which you are going to implement. Because if every company will say, hey, we know how it works, the process is clear, yes, we don't have it documented, but every knows how we are work. But when you are going to, when you meet them in the one room and ask these questions, you see that there are always things that one guy thinks that the other guys think something else. You see, and this is kind of a trick which you are using to just start this discussion. And we always says, hey, it's okay that we didn't come up with a solution, but it's always cheaper to have another meeting and spend another hour together just talking than making some changes in the code like a year later when everything is already prepared. So yeah, I believe the key is don't be afraid at the start saying, hey, I don't believe it, stop, we are too fast and stuff like that, because yeah, and also the cooperation should be transparent. So even if I'm going with you to some journey when I have I don't believe in some points, I will tell you the risks from my perspective. I'm worrying about this stuff, and I believe that if this happens, there will be these consequences. If you agree with this, I'm going to do it with you. And I believe this is like I said, at the start, just talk, and be sure that you know what you are doing. Yeah.
I really liked what you shared just prior the call, that very often when customer calls, he has some crazy, unique idea, something that he has heard or his other friend has. And then the goal is not to kill the idea that someone has, because it might be a very innovative approach, a very unique idea, but it's very important to double check if this idea is in alignment with everybody in the company. So really, yeah.
And you have to confront him with the reality, because he just see the nice picture at the end, but he cannot see the journey, what has to be done to get there. And yeah, I believe that the work of the business architect and solution architect is to confront the customer that he knows what he wants to do.
The risks that wait there along the journey. Yeah. Tautvydas, how about you? In your opinion, why do quite many projects fail? What are the main reasons for projects to fail, and how to avoid maybe them?
Yeah, so from my experience, there are different, I've seen different cases of issues. For example, one issue that partners are sometimes selling CRM as the product, as the final product, because it's available, there are licenses, here are licenses for you, it's very good, it's a lot of advertised, just take and use it. And that's a big failure, because there are a need to adopt the product. It's not the same as Office 365 or SharePoint or email, where you just connect and use it. You have to adopt to the process. Even for small organization, you have to think how to import data, how to remove what's not necessary, just align the business process which company is using, do simple integrations to email itself and to SharePoint and other services. And so that product would be really working and bringing value. Another issue, it's related to one of the questions, solution is too flexible, which I don't want to say that it's bad, because for us as developers, it's really so good thing, but you need to know how to use it. And often the problem is that customers themselves, they see, hey, it's very easy. We can add field here, field there, just a new form. We don't need a partner. We'll do it ourselves. Without former experience and etc., we just read some blog posts and use some videos, and yes, it's easy. You can add field, you can add everything, but usually you forget about the big architectural picture. You don't have development test environments. You just create a different type of fields for different requests, and in the end they don't match, they don't integrate, and etc. And without professional support, you really end up in very messy situations. And this is kind of big pro of the solution, but if not taken carefully, it could be a big con of this flexibility, because for a big part of customization, you don't need developers. You can do it with a consultant effort and roles. Yeah.
And actually, that was the one of the problem of our case internal, where we have developers, we have someone who can read some blog posts and adjust the system. And it was
I don't want to blame anyone.
No. And I myself was one of them, one of the ones to blame, asking, please make me this, please make me that, without understanding of what the overall picture of the solution for everybody should look like. And Tautvydas, I think the last, the other reason that you mentioned, and I thought that it's really resonated with what you said, is IE and how it's not utilized, and this is still a challenge for Central Eastern Europe.
Yeah, but there are a couple of reasons. Of course, maybe usually our implementations in Central Eastern Europe are still a bit smaller compared to Western Europe or Scandinavia. And AI itself is still a sci-fi technology somewhere, but there is also another issue when partner really or customer really wants that. We face that, of course, our big part of AI is related to language recognition. And naturally, most of our languages are still not supported. So I think the first goes Russian, then Polish, and then all others from our region.
And it might be is that so that there might be an expectation from the customer, and that's why the overall feeling is that I don't get the most out of the system, or is it not so?
Could be because so now Microsoft is doing a great job, like making a good user experience for new features and etc. Pointing that, hey, there's a new feature, try this, try that, and some parts still doesn't work in our region, and probably that could cause a frustration.
Okay, let's talk about competition. Another interesting thing, as always in the case, there is no solution, there is no market, we would not have competition. It would be bad. If not having competition would be really, really bad. So Michal, what would you say? What is the competition? What are the tricks for us to beat the competition? How are we moving forward to be perceived as leaders on the market? And how do we keep that position, being leaders? Because as far as I understand, 29%, right, of the latest figures, at least what I saw for Dynamics 365 customer engagement.
Yes. So definitely there are a lot of competitors, especially in certain areas. Like there is a special set of competitors in the sales, in customer service, that, for example, goes into ITSM, a service management part, or field service. So here, when Microsoft is faced, directly with the competitor in the feature-to-feature comparison, it's a very tough conversation. And then I must admit, very, very often, in the customer tenders, we meet competition, and it's a really tough discussion very often. However, when you listen to the entire Microsoft strategy, to the latest, even Satya comments on the stock results, where Microsoft is very strong is this entire cloud, and we see in the public announcements and also already in the product how the trend is to combine these parts of the cloud even closer. One cloud is, of course, one part of the cloud is Azure, is more like a platform with all these artificial intelligence or machine learning capabilities included. Then we have modern workplace with Teams that was already mentioned today, and we have business applications. So the whole value, and then here there is no other competitor that actually can offer the same level of business value. I forgot, but it's also important to mention Power Platform, which then allows to extend and build some low-code applications. Here is where actually there is no other vendor that can provide that. So here, if the customer can really perceive the entire cloud value, how it starts from the data, it starts from the insights, then it includes the collaboration features now recently announced, these integrations with Microsoft Teams, how it's really infused into the business application process. This is actually where when properly positioned, Microsoft is actually a leader, and no one can offer these kind of capabilities.
Good. Well, Jakub, does this help you as a partner? Well, because for you, competition is not only position Microsoft among other competitive solutions, but also to position yourself against other partners and to prove the point. So how are you looking at the competition and outstanding it?
And I think in the world of Microsoft partners, it's not the same competition than between other companies, because for example, in our country, the community isn't so big, because we have only like 10 million people in our country, so we are not big. And here it's more about the community and cooperation, because like Michal said, there's all this cool stuff, but you need some specialization to do this, and there is no one guy who can do all Microsoft products in all environments. It's too complicated. So from my perspective, it's more about cooperation and finding who's the best for it. And it's common that other partners come to us, hey, we are doing this project and there is this CRM part, we would like to join us for this, and vice versa. That when we have a customer which I don't know, have some specific need, and we don't have qualification for it, we ask another partner, because we all know that technology. So I believe in these terms, we are not living entirely in the competition. It's special world in Microsoft partners.
Cooperation more than a competition, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Maybe in other countries it's different, but I really feel that here it's more about cooperation, maybe.
Tautvydas, a question from you would be a little bit from different perspective. So what do you think is the most challenging piece for partners to win over the competition, and how can OneClick Factory, because our all work, all offers and all campaigns are focused on partners to help them win the projects, and then if they need OneClick Factory help, turn to OneClick Factory. So what, in your opinion, is the biggest challenge, and how can OneClick Factory help them?
Yeah, there is no probably one challenge. There are many challenges. One, of course, some gaps in the competence, in the knowledge, as I mentioned, especially when we turn into more niche technologies like field service and or Power App portals, which extends CRM to external customers and partners, and etc. So we usually support partners with the consultancies and or development services for those areas, and of course we are helping with defining the value itself in initial conversations, and in the later period of the project and etc., we can support the technical capabilities. For example, as I mentioned, when partners still do on-premise, we have a tool which helps to upgrade from on-premise to the latest version and later to migrate to the cloud. And so we have the possibility to analyze your situation, what effort would be needed to upgrade to the latest version to be compatible to the cloud, for which we have a tool, CRM Upgrade Analyzer. And at the moment, we have a special offer for that. You can do this initial analysis, technical analysis for free. Of course, later it goes with the workshop where we analyze in more detailed and we estimate what effort is needed to do that migration. So that's one part, how to get off the legacy and move to the latest technology.
I just want to comment to everybody that the tool that Tautvydas just promoted, this is free for limited time only and for Central Eastern Europe partners, meaning for you joining the webinar. If you would be interested to learn more, download the handout, but this free option, it will not be available all the time. So it's temporarily only.
Yep, and also we are creating a tool for partners who are supporting many CRM customers, so that they could have the visibility in many environments at once from the one screen. So the monitoring, deployment, DevOps, and etc. So for partners who have many customers to support at once, so this is really handy tool as well.
You also, the last time that we discussed, you also mentioned, now I might be not that correct, but you also mentioned that the challenges that Microsoft has really nice, good Polish, huge solution, and then some smaller one, but there is nothing nothing for for really to compete with the smallest cloud-based competitors on the market. And there's also some thinking around how to beat that part of competition. Can you elaborate more on the idea that you presented me before the call?
So Microsoft has a couple of levels of SKUs, so it's professional, enterprise, also all possibilities to have this attach products, where you have one product, you attach another for a much better pricing, or like you have Business Central, you can attach sales professional or customer service professional on top of that. But yeah, sometimes, as I mentioned, price point, it's sometimes crucial in our region. So partners, I would say in many cases it's possible to overcome, and we help in that initial, as I mentioned, mentoring and calls, how to provide a better value proposition, because sometimes it's really an issue there, because you just see the price and you think one word CRM, and there are other competitors which might be cheaper and etc. But as everybody already mentioned, that this is not only one CRM thing, it's much more surrounded. So you get Power Platform, you can very easily extend that, you can adopt your own needs, you can very easily put other business application next to that when you deploy CRM itself, and everything lives in the same Dataverse. You connect Power BI, and you get reports back, and everything is really connected. You have perfect email integration, which tracks all your emails from Outlook with one click to CRM, or vice versa, appointments, tasks, and etc. You integrate with SharePoint, where you just store documents and in the same place. Now, really nice integration is coming with Teams, where you will be able to have discussions around one object right in the Teams, which will be connected next to your kind of forms and etc. So this value is really big. But if there's still an issue to beat this price point, there's always a possibility to stay with Microsoft, to stay on Power Platform, and to utilize one of ISV solutions, which is available through App Source, or create your own small solution and start customer with that. And when they will get adopted with that, starting with very low price point of Power Platform licenses, and while they will be growing in the same platform, then you can switch to Microsoft solutions, which has really big implementation. And when you see that the need is big there, so it's much easier to switch when you are on the same platform.
I think that's also interesting. I hope that people who are joining are excited to hear the opportunities that there might be out there. Okay. And as the ending note, of course, I would like all the panelists to share some good practices. Reports and predictions shows that the investments to CRM-based solutions will only grow. So it means that now the question is on who will receive that, which solution, which partner, which countries will grow. Michael, what would be your key message that you want to leave the audience with, the key recommendation, maybe some campaigns, offers Microsoft has, or some tips they should have in mind?
Yes, absolutely. The product is now have these innovations, and then they are added every month almost. So I think, and that's my advantage for sure, to although it's sometimes difficult to stay up to date with these new announcements. I can just call out this recent one. This is actually capability. That's not a new product. This Context IQ, very close interactions with between Dynamics and Teams. And that will not only help, with the adoption, but also, there are some upcoming licensing changes in this respect. So I would really recommend, to stay up to date with these new features, especially that these features emphasize the value of entire cloud. So that's for sure one of the advantages that I would share. And another one is also sometimes think beyond, what customer is explaining. This was mentioned by Jakub, by Tautvidas, that we have experience as partners, as Microsoft, we have experience what can be the next step. And we should help customers actually think beyond just current expectations and try to draw to them, this vision. Sometimes maybe not necessarily, as Tautvidas mentioned, they don't need to go into the sci-fi features immediately with machine learning, etc. But the question is always about the return of investment. When we tell them that this recommendation can help them achieve, better customer penetration or generate more leads, then it's not anymore about, discussion about the cost, about the competition, but the customer usually is really keen on finding out more, on doing some POCs, or even immediately, to jump into this train. So that would be like my two pieces of advice.
Thank you. Jakub, what about you? What is your recommendation for partners joining?
I would like to be original, but I kind of agree with with Michal, because we always hear this word innovation. It's modern hashtag of IT, and I believe innovation equals investment. For the customer, it's always should be an investment. Now I spend some energy, money, and so on, because in the future there will be some return for me. So don't forget that it's investment. It's not just let's say IT orgy of new technologies. And another, if I should say some best practice, I would say simplification. Simplification, I believe, is also really important, because one of the really common problem is that the company wants to solve everything. In every situation, everything can happen, and for everything we have to be ready, and so on. In theory, you can, but it's really the solution becomes complex, and the downsides of the complex solutions are that they are more cost to implement, they are harder to service, every change you want to make, then it's complex because it's a complex solution, and even next steps can be really complex, and it doesn't have to be so. They look at it as an investment, simplify, and don't be afraid to do a phasing, not do everything in the first wave, but maybe do it in few iterations, because Michal also said it, but the really important thing is also the adaptation of the company, and you are changing something in the company, and people don't like changes. So yeah, don't be afraid. Make maybe a little more little steps than one big, because yeah, sometimes it's just easier to do it.
And probably what I'm taking out of what you share, that share your risks right in the beginning. Don't wait till the end for the risks to appear. You as a partner do know those risks, to be transparent, be open, and tell them to see the big picture of what the solution can do for them, but also warn with the steps that they will have to take with. Tautvydas, what about you? What is on top of your mind and want to have as a sharing key message that partners would be taking?
Yep. So recently we did this Power Platform upskill program, and I was delivering architectural session for Central Eastern Europe. And the first thing is know your toolbox. For me, it means know the platform which you are trying to sell, to utilize, to bring the value. And today, Microsoft is crazy because they are releasing new features all the time, and there are so many exciting things which just appear, especially during the event time frame. These Wave 1, Wave 2 announcements, and then we just had Ignite conference, Directions conference, and we just see flowing of new, big flow of new features which you should be aware of, because sometimes they are just solving some old issue or bringing up some really requested value, because all this framework of ideas where Microsoft is listening for the feature requests and etc., they are just coming into reality. And now we are having those one-on-one consultancies with partners, and I'm trying to explain, they're just telling the problematic, I'm explaining what kind of the latest technology there are, and they are just getting eyes open. Wow, everything is there. We don't need to implement. We're thinking how to build it from scratch over the year, and it's there already. So you just keep always updated, just follow the news, follow the announcements and release notes and etc. So you can sometimes just offer the solution right away, and without really need to implement, and then you can focus on other features, how to adopt, how to make user experience better for users, and etc. That would
and
be my...
I think Tautvydas, with that, I am happy to say the final word, which is that's why OneClick Factory is there for you. We are gathering news on Dynamics 365 customer engagement, as well as Business Central and Finance and Supply Chain Management. Join our CSP Acceleration Program, which is free for you as a partner, no commitments, but then Tautvydas and similar competence level people will be behind you and will guide you through all the news Microsoft is releasing, through all the challenges there are on the market, to make sure that you grow, your customers grow, and overall Central Eastern Europe market grows, especially the cloud market, not in general. Thank you, everybody, joining. It was a pleasure to have you on board. Looking forward to see you in other events. And with this, of course, I would like to say big thanks for the panelists, for the experts joining. I hope you found insights and experience they shared valuable for you. Thank you, Michal. Thank you, Jakub. Thank you, Tautvydas. Pleasure as always. See you in next event.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.